everybody, and welcome back to Noodles at Noon, the show that focuses on things that are not worth focusing on. I am your host, who is just really happy that baseball's back, like actually back, and they're playing games and doing stuff. Hi, it's me, Ben, and we are joined, as always, by our wonderful co-host, who appears to have hurt his wrist, and he hasn't told me how or why, and I'm both of them. He has both of his wrists in slings. Not slings, braces. It'd be funny if they were in slings, because then you just look like a zombie. It's Noah.
Hello. Yes, I was playing bass at church on Sunday and thought, my hand kind of hurts. And then I played bass for another hour and a half. And then came to find that I had carpal tunnel in not one, but both of my hands. So,
But wait, there's more.
but wait,
Both wrists. It's exciting. And we are joined this week by a super special guest. And our super special guest once told me to shove a paper airplane up my butt. It's my English teacher from high school, Jessica Urfer.
I don't remember that, but I bet I said it.
You had made a paper airplane in your class, and after class, I was talking to you, and Tyler was also there. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do with this? And he said, I don't know, shove it up your butt.
You know what? I think I was quoting Stanley from The Office.
Well, I've never seen The Office, so to me, it's just the lasting legacy of my high school English teacher. Anyway, since we have a special guest, Jess, why don't you, which, by the way, it's incredibly weird to call you Jess, but I'm going to try to because I think it would be weird if I went Miss Urfer this entire time. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have been a teacher in Northern Colorado for 10 years. So 10 years of telling students to shove paper airplanes up their butts. Hopefully I taught them other things too. I play the piano. Maybe. And I have a dog, and that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. Well, in the spirit of, I hope I taught them other things too. I don't think I've ever told you this, but my minor is actually in creative writing. So you did help me with writing and stuff, and I do a lot of writing for my job. So
good to know. I'm very proud.
So now Ben knows how to creatively tell people in written form to shove things up their butt.
Exactly. Get rid of the thing that he doesn't want in his room.
It comes up a lot in my job of creatively telling people to do that at the Christian publishing company. Well, Noah, how has your week been?
Man, it's been all right. I'll just say that. Besides the carpal tunnel, I know Ben and I haven't had the best of weeks. I don't know about Jess. I haven't talked to you much this week.
Should we have started with her?
She can close us out. You can close us out with positivity, unless you have an even worse.
Well, yeah, knows what happened to me this week.
Noah and I are about to be incredibly depressing when we're talking, so you better think of something good.
Okay.
But other than the carpal tunnel and also being sick, not being as sick as Ben, I'm imagining, as we'll find out shortly. But
it's not a competition. If it were, I would win, but
you would definitely win. But yeah, I've just been kind of off this week, just kind of dealing with sickness. But I did have kind of an interesting experience last week while driving to a friend's house. It was like a pretty nice day. We've been getting more of the nice days where it's sunny. You can kind of have your window down. So I was just tooling along in my little red Dart down the road right by our house here, and it's a three-lane road. And I looked behind me and I realized there's this motorcyclist behind me with the helmet, the dark jacket, and he's got like thick tires on this bike, like super wide tires, and he's doing a wheelie like a couple of feet back from my rear end. I'm trying to think of the other word for that. That's not rear end. My fender, my bumper.
The back of your car.
The back of my car. He's like tailgating me, popping this wheelie behind me. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of dangerous, but that's cool. And then out of nowhere, this lady in her big old Lexus comes tearing over into his lane, like right where he is, and forces him to quickly get off into the side lane over to my left. And like she came dangerously close to hitting him. I was kind of, while I saw in my rearview mirror unfold and kind of wondering what was going to happen. And then he like pops this crazy wheelie, goes speeding by my car at like 70 miles an hour on this 50-mile-an-hour road. And I was just kind of shaking my head like, man, this guy's going to really hurt himself. And then all of a sudden he looks back at me, stops popping the wheelie, brakes on his bike, and gets alongside me. And he's like motioning at me to roll down my window. And so I did. I rolled down my window and wasn't quite sure what to make of this. And then he like lifts up his little helmet visor and just goes, "Oh, hey, Noah, how's it going?" And then tears right off. So I'm pretty sure I know who this is because I used to have a coworker that was known for doing this, specifically like doing wheelies on busy roads on his motorcycle. But it all happened so fast, like I didn't even have time to respond or say anything. I was just like, wait, who is this? And by the time I collected my thoughts, he was like way down the road in front of me, never to be seen again. But anyway, that was that was my crazy biker story of the week.
Wow, I'm glad they're alive.
Yeah, at least at that point, I assume he still is.
That's true.
I like that you're pretty sure you know who it is, but not totally sure.
Not 100%, but I mean, how many people in circles that I hang out in, like, pop motorcycle wheelies?
It could be your Noah from Noodles at Noon vanity plates.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. It's a very, very long license plate. Goes around the entire rear end of your car. Because all I was thinking was thinking of like the back road that I take to get to your house. So I was picturing it happening on that road, and I was like, wow, this is really dangerous. And then I think it's the main road that you're talking about, which makes it not less dangerous, but more, it helped adjust the image in my head to kind of be like, okay, this sort of thing that would happen on that road.
Well, that's my story. Ben, what about you? Like, I know it's not a competition, but I think you've been a little sicker than me. So
I was so sick. Let me tell you exactly how sick I was.
How sick are you?
No, I won't get into specifics. But Monday, I had a great day. It was awesome. Got to see people I knew. Went to my church thing that I'm a part of on Monday nights. It was a grand old time. Went to bed because I knew I had a job interview the next morning. Actually, that's not true. I stayed up ridiculously late that night. I didn't go to bed, and it was unwise. I think I was up to like 2 a.m. Anyway, woke up the next morning, ready. All right, thought for my job interview, and I like swallowed once, and my throat just kind of felt like I had been coughing for like a week. And I was like, that's weird. I haven't coughed once. And then I coughed, and I was like, oh, I'm coughing now. So I took one of our fancy at-home COVID tests, came back negative. So I was like, I guess I'll go to work because I don't have COVID, so I guess I'll go to work. Went to work, took some medicine. There's Noah's positive COVID test.
Wait, what? Misread it.
Gosh darn it! I gotta call some people.
I gotta call a whole concert.
Call a whole concert, people. Went to, and then my interviews were going to be evening because I was interviewing for a job at the place I'm currently working, kind of. And went home. It just kept feeling worse and worse. All I know is that I've completed the interview process. Everything that happened during the interviews, I'm not exactly sure of.
It's all a blur.
That's all a blur. I don't remember what I said, what questions they asked. I acknowledge that it happened, and now I'm here. And apparently, I don't know, I hope it went well because they didn't fire me. So, yeah.
Ooh, that is worst case scenario, that not only do you not get the job, but they fire you from your temp position.
Yeah.
Because the interview goes so poorly.
Yeah. They're like, wait, you're not the person we thought you were. And I'm like, no, I promise, I'm just on drugs. But the cold drugs, not the bad drugs.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Which I will say, I'm a relatively large human being. I'm quite tall. I call them muscles. And but if I take like one Benadryl, it renders me unconscious almost immediately. Or if I take one cold medicine, I am completely loopy for the rest of the day. It does not take a lot to render me useless when it comes to being sick / taking medicine of any kind. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how the interview went. I hope it went well. It was about 3.5 hours worth of interviews.
Whoa, that's a lot. How many people was that?
1, 2. So there was like an hour, 2 hour long interviews back to back. 1 second, I promise. I barely remember this. 2 hour long interviews that were back to back. And then one like 45-minute interview that was with 4 people, and then 2 30-minute interviews back to back. Hopefully that's it.
Were any of them your dad?
India. So no.
Oh, that's right.
Also, he's not in a position of hiring. So
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian from not Journeys of Scientists podcast from India. Yeah.
Jess, we have 2 fans of this show. We have Brian from the Journeys of Scientists podcast and Ben's dad, Brian.
Hey.
Cool. I wasn't sure who the second fan was because I'm like, I know Brian.
I was going to say, it's kind of a stretch to call your dad a fan, but yeah, he was on it once. So
he was on it once, and he also told me that he listened to the last episode so he could fall asleep.
That's how Ben's parents go to sleep. They just put on the podcast.
There is nothing more sleep-inducing to my parents than me sitting and talking into a microphone.
And Ben sleeps like right across the hall, so you get to listen to yourself like through the walls.
Yeah, because my mom does not use headphones when she's sleeping. She just puts it on her phone and turns the volume all the way up. And that is how she listens to podcasts to go to sleep.
So
she puts it in a metal bowl.
You fix that is by in like every 5-7 minutes, like you make a really loud noise on your podcast.
I think the way I fix it is by moving out.
Well, no, wake up! Stay awake. They'll stop using your podcast as like a sleep story.
No, but we need those listeners.
We need that retention time.
Okay. So then, just be really calming and talk very quietly.
Exactly.
And then,
and just lull them off to sleep. Thanks.
You just need to turn this into like an 8-hour podcast that's 7.5 hours of ads. And because our listener base is so small, like, they pay $10 or something, but we just get so many ads that it makes it worth it. And then people like your parents just get to
we
listen
wouldn't get $10.
Yeah, that was pretty generous. I know.
They pay like $10 per 1,000 listeners.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
For only $10.
How many people are in this Discord now? Like 30? Yeah, close to 30. We got to start.
We have a nice little community of people in our Discord. Yeah. Other than that, I'm happy baseball's back, and I'll keep telling people that baseball's back. Baseball's back. So make sure you go watch baseball. That's my homework for you. Now, my English teacher, how was your week? Or past ever?
It was interesting. We had parent-teacher conferences.
Ooh.
It was the last one of the year, though. So I have a student teacher right now, and I told her after parent-teacher conferences ended that like this week is the best week of the year because right now we are as far away as possible from the next parent-teacher conferences. Like we won't have another one for like 5 months, and it's like enjoy this time because then like I don't know, August happens and I'm like, okay, school's gonna start, but then I'm like, parent-teacher conferences are gonna happen again. And We're
So
very
do you-
popular because I teach mostly freshmen right now, and it's a tiny town. My coworkers were getting like 3 people all night. We had like 17. And part of it is because she's a student teacher, so they wanted to like come see who this crazy person is who's teaching their kids, because freshmen turn on anything new. So,
Yeah.
and she's great. Like, she is a wonderful. I tried to talk to them this week because, well, my principal came in to observe a student because his dad asked him to. And so that kid, like the second my principal walked in, like sat straight up, like was perfect for the whole 40 minutes that he was in there, because he knew that the principal was there to watch him. But after he left, they were like, why was he here? And I was like, I don't know, like maybe he wanted to see Miss K teach. It's his job. He has to come into all of our classrooms. And they were like, can he write an anti-letter of recommendation? And I was like, well, that's not really a thing. Like, you get to choose who writes your letters of
Yeah.
recommendation. And also, I was like, you guys need to talk to the current juniors, because my student teacher that year, I was like, ask them about tall guy student teacher. They'll know exactly who you're talking about. And I'm like, you don't understand. She is a good student teacher. We've had bad ones. She's good. And I think maybe that calmed them down a little. I don't know. We'll see how they are Monday. It's a roller coaster. But yeah, parent-teacher conferences.
Oh.
And then a
Are they-
principal watching us, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are they any less invested, like at the end of the year? Like, are parent-teacher conferences better at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, or
Well,
are they just
okay.
all bad?
No, they weren't mad. There were only a couple that were like, that kind of caught her off guard with their questions. But that was good. Like, she needed to see what that is like. Every parent that we saw this week, I have met before. Like, it was no new people.
Yeah.
And like my science fiction class, the 7 boys in science fiction, I was like, your parents coming tonight? They're like, nope. I was like, makes sense. None of you are freshmen.
You're a freshman.
And also, one of them's a senior who's like failing everything. I was just like, nope. I was like, that tracks. Okay.
Great.
So
Have a good
You-
night.
you teach a science fiction class. What's that about? Like, is it about writing or reading science fiction, or both?
Reading and watching.
Ah.
So I got to create it. So we do what I want. I focus it around kind of like 4 different areas of science, or 5. So like we start with just kind of background info, like why did science fiction become a thing? Why is it not mythology? Why are we not watching Star Wars? Those sorts of things. And then we go into aliens. Oh no, we start with like just tech advances. So artificial intelligence stuff. So we read a lot of Ray Bradbury. This quarter we watched Free Guy to talk about AI.
Ooh.
We watched, oh man, what was the other movie we watched? We've definitely watched a couple already.
Any Isaac Asimov?
Yes. Well, okay. Sometimes we watch iRobot. We read Robot Dreams and Senior English when I do dystopia.
Oh,
So
cool.
I didn't want to like take that away from Senior English. But yeah, so any of them that are seniors, which most of them are, I'm like, remember that guy? Well, now we've got iRobot. But they also sometimes watch that movie in one of the programming classes. So
I'm
this
just
year we
amazed
didn't
you
have
like
that one.
communicate these things so you don't just teach the same stuff. That's kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. And this class is really, so then within those like units, so like there's AI, right now we're in space, aliens, and time travel. Then we'll move to apocalyptic and dystopian stories, and then we'll end on the superhero. So within all of that, like we've got a philosophical focus for the week that I have them look for like in the things that we're reading or watching. So like this week it was the trolley problem, and we watched a really old Star Trek episode where Kirk, like, of course, like falls in love with the woman in the past, but he has to let her die, or else, like, it means the end of all humanity. And so he's kind of making his choice. I know, and he's like, I love her. Yeah.
How does he fix it?
He lets her die.
He murders her.
Whoa.
No, she runs into traffic, and he has to let her.
Oh. Well, isn't that Spock's big thing? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
It's true.
Yep.
That's true.
That's Spock's whole deal.
My students are going to say that. They're like, look at that guy. He's just standing there, like, in the back, like, yep.
I agree with this.
I've also seen...
Oh, sorry.
There's a video I've seen online where a dad presents his like pretty young toddler with the trolley problem and lays it out with his train tracks, and he puts like 5 little people on one track and 1 person on the other, and he's like, all right, son, what do you do? And the kid puts the 1 on the track with the other 5 and then runs over all of them. Oh. That's my favorite solution.
It's creative. It's creative.
Wait, have you seen The Good Place?
Yes.
I've seen 1 episode of The Good Place.
Oh man.
And it was the last episode of season 1. And
so you know.
Yes. They're all
Yes. So there's an episode where they replay the trolley problem because they're trying to teach Michael to be good. And isn't that one of his solutions? He's like, well, obviously, this is what you do to kill the most humans.
Right. I think he does do that.
Yeah. They're like, no, that is not the point.
For anyone listening to this podcast who doesn't know what the trolley problem is, Miss Urfer will now explain it.
Oh, sure.
It's your job.
Philosophical. Well, I have them watch a TED Talk. I can explain it.
Fine, we'll play a TED Talk.
Yeah, play that TED Talk on the trolley problem, or watch the episode of The Good Place. It does a great job of explaining it. But basically, you are standing next to a lever with a trolley careening towards 5 people. If you flip the lever, it will only hit 1 person, but another like bystander. So you kill 1 person to save 5 people, or do you just let the 5 people die? And I guess around 90% of people say that they will flip the lever to kill the 1 person. But if you switch it up and you say there's a trolley coming for 5 people and you're standing on a bridge and there's a guy standing next to you who's like pretty large guy, if you were to push him over, you could stop the trolley to save the 5 people. And actually fewer people are willing to do that because like you're an active participant in like causing the death. Whereas like the lever switching.
You feel more removed from it if you're just switching a lever instead of actively pushing a guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you think you know the answer to this problem, leave a speak pipe at noodlespodcast.com.
Noodlespodcast.com. You
can go to the contact us, or no, there's a big orange button at the top that says leave a speak pipe. You click that button and it will let you do that. By the way, thank you so much for listening. You can catch us anywhere podcast, like our website, noodlespodcast.com.
Noodlespodcast.com. We have to repeat it every time.
We do. Or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, and coming to you live this week from baseball
Jess's
stadium.
Classroom. She's
Jess's Classroom.
For her students.
This is Welcome to Sci-Fi.
Yes.
We're going to listen to my 2 favorite NPR hosts who I joined this week to talk about the trolley problem.
This is NPR.
Would it be awkward to sit around and listen to a podcast in a classroom instead of like a TV that you can watch? Like, what do you look at while you're listening?
Noah's never been in a classroom.
Oh, that's so cute.
I was allowed to play with like Lego bricks when we listened to stuff during school, so...
Yeah. I took them outside yesterday because it was so nice to read them the story that we had, so... Some of them looked at the sky. Some of them
outdoors
looked at me.
time. It's like prison.
I was going to say Noah's never been outside either.
Not hardly this week.
No, me neither.
I left the house to go to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie premiere. That was it. That was about the only time I left the house.
He was so excited about it. He was one of 7 people there.
I was so excited. I had to come home and call Ben and tell him about it because I was so excited. And shout out to Jessie because she went with me and watched the whole movie, even though she hadn't seen the first and doesn't even care about Sonic. But I'm convinced now she cares just a little bit more.
She might care because you care.
And that's beautiful.
But not because she cares about Sonic.
She laughed. She will like say, oh, it was fine. It was a movie. It was whatever. But she laughed a lot in the movie. So I think she had a better time than she's willing to admit.
I'm sure she did.
You need to have seen the first one to understand what's happening in the second one?
Not really. I explained the first movie to her over dinner. But having played all the games, you definitely pick up on a lot of things. So I don't think she quite understood when like this one logo appeared on screen and I'm like freaking out, or when this one character is briefly alluded to on a billboard in the background and I'm like losing my mind. But it's all right. It's all good. Great movie. Highly recommend. Go see it. You'll probably see me in the theater if you go.
Yeah. Noah is at every single showing. He's omnipotent.
That's why I can see the theater from my window right now, is because I got to go to all the Sonic showings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Support that little indie film.
It's kind of like when the new Spider-Man movie came out, which if you haven't seen it yet, spoilers, even though it came out 6 months ago. I wanted to take my parents to it because I'm like, guys, this movie is amazing. And they're like, okay. I'm like, but you have to watch like 17 movies for it to make sense.
That's true.
Like, we're not
I hadn't seen
that.
any of the other Spider-Man movies from the previous eras of Spider-Man. So I missed out on some of what was happening.
Yeah, because you have to watch all
did
those.
Did you at least have like the recognition of like, oh, I think I've seen that guy in like movie posters for the other Spider? Like, okay.
Yeah, and they did a good job of explaining like even things that I didn't know, like that one Spider-Man had lost someone to falling off a ledge or whatever. Spoilers. I like was able to imply like, okay, this probably happened in another movie, and oh, that's really sweet. Wish I'd seen that movie. Wish I knew what was going on, but that seems cool. I'm sure somebody had a really good time. That's how I feel about any Marvel movie I watch. Is man, I'm sure somebody really enjoyed that movie.
It was
not you.
They're fine, I guess. It's like Jesse watching Sonic. It's the same thing. Like I'm happy that other people can get all the enjoyment out of this Marvel movie, just like Jesse can enjoy me freaking out over Idris Elba voicing a red echidna.
Whatever that means. And anytime I take Noah to a Marvel movie, I have to explain all the other ones to him over dinner. So
he buys me dinner, so
yeah, and a movie ticket. Well, speaking of SpeakPipe questions, do we have a SpeakPipe from this week, Mr. Noah, sir?
We do, sir, and I'm going to send it to you right now.
Oh, terrific. And I will play it for the masses. As soon as I get back to here and click this button.
So Jess Bryan is this guy that Ben and Michael used to know.
Did you teach Brian Stanley?
No, I never taught him. He was, I think he took AP Lang from Moore his last year. And that's when
he's our biggest fan.
He's actually coming to stay at our house for like 5 days at the end of the month.
Nice.
Well, this is, as always, exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds, because that's the time limit on SpeakPipes. So here is a message from Brian Stanley.
Hi, Noodles at Noon sticker winner Brian Stanley here, and I want to answer your most recent SpeakPipe prompt, which was, should we monetize our biggest fan, Brian? And I think the obvious answer is, why, yes, of course. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I do so much for the Noodles at Noon marketing, and I think this really fits your brand. I mean, if it wasn't for me, I felt like I played a big role in building that partnership with Chili's. Meanwhile, we have been going to Disneyland, standing in line, making friends with a new man named Jason, and at no point does he mention he has a podcast. I really think you need someone else to become the minister of marketing for the Noodles at Noon team, because obviously both of you seem to be very busy with many obligations with this brand. And I just think a new set of eyes could really take place. And so I am all about making a whole line of t-shirts that are all related to me. It would really boost my ego, which is kind of fragile at the moment. So yeah, what else are you going to do? I think it's good enough. Yeah, I absolutely go for it. Do it.
Miss Urfer, did you hear all of that?
I heard the first part or the last part of it.
Okay.
He wants the t-shirts made for himself.
Okay, so bit of background about Brian is that we have a store. You can find it at noodlespodcast.com.
Oh, shoot.
Noah,
What happened?
I said noodlespodcast.com.
Oh, noodlespodcast.com. Sorry.
There it is. If you go to our store, there are shirts and stuff that you can buy there. And there is literally one Noodles at Noon shirt in existence, and it's owned by Brian. And I said, if you go into a Chili's and you wear your Noodles at Noon and you post it on Instagram and you use the hashtag Chili's love, you will win a free sticker. And only one person completed this mission, which was Brian, because there's only one shirt. And as I was sending him the sticker, I was sending it to Brian, and it gave me several custom-made t-shirt options for just different shirts that had to do with the name Brian. Like there was one that said, "Keep calm and let Brian handle it," or stuff like that. And I posed the question of whether or not we should lean into that and have a bunch of Brian-themed merchandise on our website. And it sounds like he's all for it. He did throw a bit of shade at me for not being a better marketer of our brand, but I can own that.
Yeah, look at our Instagram. That's fair.
I did work in marketing for like 3 years and have 3 years of social media experience, and I don't want to do anything with our marketing or social media. So you can take over as Minister of Marketing for Noodles at Noon. I will let you
Minister
do that.
of Marketing Affairs, Brian
Minister
Stanley.
of Marketing.
But he's the
Yeah.
only person we market to, so that might be a problem.
It's all Brian specific.
It's a very targeted audience, so it should be easy to reach him.
Oh, I mean, he's listening right now. Hi, Brian. Hi, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope Noah's house isn't too creepy.
Yeah, Brian's going to come. So I have never met Brian in person. But Brian is going to be out near us for some doctor work because he's about to be a doctor. And he's going to come crash in the very room that I'm in right now. I told him, you can come stay with us, but you have to sleep in the podcast room because that's also our spare bedroom and also my office. So it's an active place, but Brian's going to come spend a few days here at the Metzger pad, which I'm super excited about.
Maybe we'll record a podcast.
Yes, I think that would be really fun.
I think we should do that.
While he's sleeping.
While he's sleeping. Exactly.
Put him to sleep.
I think we need to devote the next 45 minutes of our show thinking of Brian's specific t-shirt ideas now that we have the okay from Brian himself.
Shoot,
So-
I got nothing.
Keep calm and Brian on, obviously.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And
Um,
if you have any other ideas and they're letter specific, it is spelled Bryan,
hmm.
not Brain. So it's that form of Brian.
Man,
So
trying to be
this would
on here.
be a very targeted audience, but I just watched the Blank episode of Doctor Who with the science fiction kids. So don't Brian.
Ooh. Don't Brian. Yes, that's a good one. I don't know if it makes sense.
If you put a comment,
That's-
if you put a comma in the middle of that, it's just good
Don't.
advice for
Don't,
Brian
right?
in most scenarios, probably. Like,
Okay.
don't, Brian.
And then we could have another shirt that says, do it, comma, Brian.
What if
So we
that's
have-
on the backside and he can like flip the shirt around
Yeah.
depending on what kind of mood he's in?
Yeah.
Except he won't be able to see the message on a shirt because he's the one wearing it. So we
It's
should
for
get it
other
for his
people
girlfriend.
to wear as a message to him. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I like the don't and the do Brians. And
Don't
or
Brian.
just the don't Brian. No comma. What
Well-
else?
How do you guys feel about playing a little game?
I am so down to play a game.
It's been a little while since we've gotten to have two guests, right? We didn't have a guest 2 weeks ago. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. It was just me and you. I'm very
so-
excited to get to lose to someone again.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It all depends on how either creative Jess is or how many reality TV shows you watch. Are you a
I
reality show watcher, Jess?
Sometimes it depends on the reality show.
Man, I watched Duck Dynasty and that's it.
I sometimes watch The Bachelor, mostly because like it makes me feel better. Like, no matter how bad my day has been, hasn't been that bad.
You just know you're not to that point.
Yep. I used to tell kids like if they needed advice for their life, I was like, I just think, what would a contestant on The Bachelor do? And then you do the opposite, and it has never failed me.
See, my brother and his wife were big fans of The Bachelor. They loved watching The Bachelor. But now they're into a new show, which I think is called Below Deck, and it's about like the help staff on a billionaire's yacht. And apparently it's a reality show. So that's fun.
That sounds interesting.
That sounds interesting. Is it Jeff Bezos' new super yacht that they had to destroy that bridge for?
Probably. Wasn't that in Denmark?
In Denmark? Yeah. Because they built the
Destroyed
ship and then
Danish
went,
bridge.
oh, wait, we have no way to get this out into the ocean. What luxury. Well, I have 3 reality shows here that we're going to talk about. And so the way this typically works, Jess, is I'm going to read a description of this reality show, but I'm going to leave out a key word or phrase. And then it's up to you and Ben to figure out what that word is. So each of you get a guess, and then I'll give the point to whoever is closer to the correct answer.
Okay.
So to start out, we'll talk about this show, which in 2015, Lifetime created, that immediately angered both home viewers and medical experts alike. So you know you're off to a good start. This reality show documented couples who wanted to give birth, not at a hospital, but blank. And since Jess is the guest, we'll let Ben go first because then you can kind of catch the feeling, the vibe from there.
Okay. So for a second, I thought I knew what this was, and then I didn't. So there we go.
Okay. So good start.
Good start. There was a TV show that Michael liked. I don't know if it's still being aired, but called Botched, and it was about botched plastic surgery things. So for a second, I thought it was going to be that, but it's about people who want to have births not in a hospital, but in somewhere else. And I'm going to say that somewhere else is Ford Fiestas specifically, because there was like this whole thing where someone gave birth to their child in a Kia. And because of that, Kia, and they named their daughter Kia, because of that, Kia gave them a brand new car. So I think this is all about people trying to specifically have birth in a type of car so that they can then name their child, oh, it's the Lamborghini Aventador, my child. And then Lamborghini gives them a brand new car.
Whatever car they give birth in, that's the car they get to take home. They get to choose.
Yes.
That'd be awesome if that happened in my car, because I'd totally have a son named Dodge.
Or Dart.
Do you have to keep that car?
No, because you're given
not.
a new one.
Okay, good.
You could like rent a car. Like you could specifically rent a Ferrari just for the day when you know you're going to give birth, and then give birth in the Ferrari. Take the car back, but name your son or daughter Ferrari.
I think I see what Jess is saying here, and yeah, I think you'd probably do some damage to your car giving birth in it.
I have
That's
two
why you
friends who
get-
have given birth in cars, and
What types of cars? Did they get a new
One
car?
was
Did they
a Dodge
name their babies
Caravan?
after it?
Oh no, you can't.
and the
You can't
other
name your
one
daughter
was
Caravan.
Subaru. You can't name her Caravan. And the other one I think was a Subaru Forester.
Forest is that name.
Oh,
Forest
and
is
she did have a boy, so she could have gone that, Forest.
Forest. That would have been dope. I'm
Right,
submitting my
here's the
answer.
Here's the speak pipe question. What is the worst car to have a baby in that you have to name the baby after? Was that confusing enough for everybody?
What is the worst
baby
car
name
to have?
is a car name.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss
A Ford Probe. You'd have to name your baby Probe.
Robe.
Oh,
All right, so Ben says couples who wanted to give birth not at a hospital, but in a vehicle or in a Ford Fiesta.
It
Yes.
did specifically say Ford Fiesta, but
Ford Fiesta. All right, we'll go with that.
Well, what would make medical professionals angry? The car, probably. But also there's got to be maybe a danger factor. Originally, I was thinking like a hot tub because that sounds relaxing.
Ooh.
And I feel like 2015 was like the era where I'm sure this happened before, but I feel like I saw a lot of people were like, we're going to do a natural at home bathtub birth. And I was like, that sounds gross. I mean, miracle of life, but whatever.
Miracle of life, but it's still kind of gross.
Yeah. It's gross. Why not be in a hospital for it? But something maybe more dangerous. Wouldn't it be awesome to have your kid on an airplane or give birth on international waters?
Oh.
And that's more dangerous because I feel like they do water births a lot. I don't know why they'd be angry about that. So I'm going to go with saltwater birth. I don't think the type of water matters.
I think protest. I think it does matter. Because if you had your baby in the LA River, I think that would be a bit problematic. Because that's nasty.
Hey, maybe it is in public places or in nature.
Oh, I didn't mean to give you ideas. The LA River is not nature.
No, but maybe
it's
they're
the opposite of nature.
we need to go give birth like our ancestors did in the woods. I changed my answer. In the woods.
In the woods.
In the woods.
I went from hot tub to airplane to the woods.
I think she's onto something with airplane, though. That's
yeah, your baby. It could be that could be the new Mile High Club. The baby is in the air.
Right, the baby
is born up there. Yeah,
and then you have to skydive out after.
Well,
you
and
have
then
the baby.
if you're born not over a country, where do you belong? Where do you get to be born?
oh,
The country you landed or the country where you took off from?
There's probably laws for that, right?
I'm sure there are, but that could be part of the drama. Can
I
they be
think-
president anymore?
I was born in an airplane over Missouri. Can I?
what if?
We're
What if
thinking
someone?
over the Pacific. If they just came from Hawaii and they're going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What if someone got to be the party's nomination for the presidential candidate, and you get to one of the debates, and the other person's just I have proof that they were born on an international flight, which makes me think they're actually from Canada or something.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Well, in 2015, Lifetime created a reality show that immediately angered both home viewers and medical experts alike, documenting couples who wanted to give birth not at a hospital, but in the wild. The show was Born in the Wild. Jess takes the point. And I'll just say that rarely happens that someone gets it right on. and you
I'm
pretty much
shocked.
did.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it says, so the description that I pulled from some like BuzzFeed-ish website says, arguably the most irresponsible reality show ever made. Born in the Wild documents couples who want to have a more natural, in quotes, birthing experience by delivering a baby in the great outdoors, unassisted by modern medicine. The show was slammed by medical experts as a pre-modern birth process is associated with vastly higher infant mortality rates. And the actual show plays out a bit like a miracle of birth version of the Blair Witch Project. And when a show's suspense is generated from viewers wondering if a mother and her newborn are going to die, you've got to wonder how this ever got a green light. So,
is it filmed? Like, there's no film crew if it's like Blair Witch Project. It's all them filming themselves.
Oh, that's a good question. I did not look up this show. Also,
Okay.
I think like the giving birth part is the worst part of any show or movie ever. I saw a YouTuber that I like once said something about like, I think all movies should just have like a black screen with white text that just says, and then she gave birth. And that's the whole birthing scene. Like, we don't need to see any more than that. Just skip right over that. Again, miracle of life.
Miracle
Still
of
kind of
life.
gross. Well, we'll move on to round 2. Dating shows are not uncommon, but this one, initially airing on VH1 in 2014, attempted to go where other shows never even dreamed of going. The show consisted of a man and a woman, each going on 3 separate dates, hoping to find a true love connection. The only problem, you're not allowed to blank. Keep it appropriate. Jess goes first.
Yeah, Jess, keep it appropriate. Gosh.
Okay. Let's say they're not allowed to talk. It's called the Little Mermaid Project. You're not allowed to like say any words to each other. Ursula has stolen your voice and you got to find your true love by sunset on the 3rd day. No speaking.
Only
So maybe
nonverbal.
Yeah, totally nonverbal.
And that's interesting because then like you're not basing your relationship on politics, religion, likes or dislikes.
Just totally what they look like.
Just looks, I guess. Yeah.
And if
This
they're
is
totally like a disgusting eater when they eat, Buffalo Wild Wings. If you can find somebody who will love you after you've eaten a whole thing of like wings, they're the one.
You're the one.
No one looks good eating wings.
That's good
I
advice.
always eat wings with a fork.
See,
Even bone in
I'm not a
wings?
real man. No,
Okay.
I don't eat bone-in wings. I eat chicken nuggies. See, I was thinking talk, but that seems too easy because that's just what Tinder is. And yeah, so someone who can, so they go on 3 dates.
And they go on dates with different people. So it's a man and a woman.
With
They're not going on
different
dates with each
people.
other, but with other people. They go on a date with 3 different people each.
Oh. So, wait, what? So the man and woman aren't seeing each other. They're
Right.
seeing other people. So the
They're
man and
seeing
woman
other
who
people.
are dating other people don't date each other.
Right. They date 3 other people to see if
Wow.
they find a love connection with any of those 3 people.
And then they meet and talk about it?
No, the man and woman never meet. I don't think. It's totally separate. It's just so you have an A story and a B story, right? You got to flip back between the man's dates and the woman's dates.
You saying the man is the A story? Wow, that's very...
No, I didn't say
Noah.
one way or the other.
Well, that changes things in the fact that this now makes 0 sense to me. I'm going to say they can't... Well, now talk is the only one that makes sense. They can't...
The only problem, they're not allowed to blank.
They're not allowed to s- stop holding hands. Like they have to hold hands the entire time.
Oh,
The whole date, just hand holding.
that breaks down a barrier for sure.
Does break down a barrier.
Well, this show is all about breaking barriers because in this show, they're not allowed to wear clothes.
You said keep it clean.
That's true. I did say that. Oh, well. This show is called Dating Naked. It says VH1 is known for dating shows with interesting premises, but Dating Naked is perhaps the most awkward and controversial one the network's ever attempted. The blind, yet totally exposing dating show allows contestants to remove barriers in more ways than one. Each episode puts a guy and a girl on a remote tropical island, and they go on nude dates with 3 different people, ultimately deciding if they made a connection with anyone. While the participants are eventually allowed to put their clothes back on, it's tough to withstand nearly an hour of strangers stripping down upon meeting. And I just feel sorry for the editor that had to do all the censor work on that, like all the pixelation. That takes time.
It's just motion tracking dots.
Yeah.
Is that around the same time that was Naked and Afraid came out?
Oh,
It had to have been, right? When did
My
that show come
favorite
out?
show.
VH1 was probably like, we can do that.
Have we not talked about Naked and Afraid on this podcast before and how ridiculous of a show I think that is? Because it doesn't even make sense. Because literally humanity went like 3 days without clothes. And then it's not even like we have to get back to our roots. No. We ate an apple and then realized we needed fig leaves. Like, what?
So I haven't seen the show. Are they allowed to like go construct fig leaf skirts for themselves, or do they
I
have
think
to
so.
stay
I haven't
totally
watched it either, so I don't know.
No, I haven't watched it either. I just think it's ridiculous.
I was
think they make
homeschooled. That wasn't allowed.
I think
my
they make
house.
clothes. But like, why is that not the first thing that they do each time?
Maybe they like it. Maybe it's freeing. I think the people that want to be on the show Naked and Afraid, probably that's not their first instinct is to go put clothes on.
I think it was the same couple. It's just, I don't think it was a dating show. I think it was
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a dating show. But Naked and Afraid came out in 2013. This show came out in 2014. So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think that's when nudity, everyone was doing the hot tub births. Nudity was all over TV. It was a dark time.
When did Tinder get released?
Probably around that same time. All connected.
Downfall of humanity all happened.
All
connected.
2012, that was supposed to be the end of the world, and in some ways, they were right.
We got
Yeah.
Tinder.
So we go into the final question 1-1.
I got the pity point
Back to
just to make
Ben
it interesting in the
first.
last round.
It's true. We do have a habit of that. The ultra rich and reality shows typically go hand in hand. In this show, a slew of women were given the chance to date Evan Marriott, a multimillionaire looking to find love. At the end of each episode, much like The Bachelor, he would eliminate a woman until only one remained. The woman who made it all the way to the end of the show got the opportunity to marry him, but was surprised to also discover blank. Ben is up first.
He wasn't a millionaire.
Elaborate.
He didn't have $1 million.
Okay. He had less than
He had less than $1 million.
figures.
Yeah, that's my elaboration. No, they were told like, hey, this guy's a millionaire. So they go on all these dates thinking, ooh, I'm going to marry a millionaire. And then they make a real connection. They're like, psych, I'm a public school teacher. No, that's not shade at public school teachers. Just none of them have millions of dollars.
It's just that they're all really overpaid. So
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Jess just left. She left the room.
She left the room. She went and got in her $1 million car and drove away.
I
Her
know.
BMW. Yeah. All right. Ben says he wasn't actually a millionaire. Jess.
Okay. I mean, that is what I also think it is, but since I can't answer that,
You could.
You're allowed
pretty
to-
lax
you're
with
allowed to
the
copy.
rules here.
now we'll come up with a new thing. Because I do think that it's called like Joe Schmo or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
I think that's what it is. But how about this? They find out, wait, how did you phrase it? That he isn't?
The woman who made it all the way to the end of the show got the opportunity to marry him, but was surprised to also discover blank.
That he has to spend the next 10 years in jail
Oh,
for some sort of
that-
financial fraud, which is why he has the money. But like,
tax fraud.
they're not going to be able to spend the first 10 years of their married life together.
And the
So
show's
how'd you
called
make all
You've
this
Been
money?
Served. Yeah.
How'd you make all this money? I'll tell you in the finale. That's kind of part of the show. That's a good one. So he committed tax fraud, but still got to keep like $1 million out of it, which is exciting. I mean,
He stole
honestly,
way more.
Yeah.
that might be the best way to do it. Like, you get all the money, but you don't actually have to be married to the guy because he's going to be in jail for 10 years. So
Yeah.
it seems almost better than having to like marry and live with him.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you guys,
just fell in love.
yeah, it's true. It's all about love. Because everyone that finds love in these reality shows, it's real. It's real love. You can just
Oh,
tell.
100%. That's why I'm going on The Bachelor.
You guys both, I think, know the show. The show is Joe Millionaire.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And Ben is correct. They find out at the end that he's actually not a millionaire. He's just a construction worker. Ew.
Oh.
Ew.
That's worse than a public school teacher.
But if they choose to get married, if she chooses to stay with him and marry him anyway, they get $1 million anyway. So
Oh,
kind of, I don't know. So he is kind of a millionaire. Maybe not
Only
after
if-
taxes, but
well, I think because this show is still on, and I think they're doing another season, but this time there's two people, and one of them's a millionaire and one of them isn't.
Joe Millionaire for richer or for poorer. You're right.
Yeah,
But is it that they don't know which is which?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to fall in love with the right one, or else you're just in love, which sucks.
Which would be terrible, to be in love
Which
to
would
a
just be
poor
the
person. I can't imagine. That'd be heartbreaking.
There was a show like 10 years ago called Outback Jack. And it was like The Bachelor, but meets Survivor. And these like 20 women got dropped into the Australian outback. And like he'd make them do crazy things, whoever Outback Jack was. And I think they got married. Like the person he chose after this crazy like selection process, which was basically Survivor, like I think they might still be married.
They are. They've been married 15 years and have 3 children.
See?
How? Okay.
Oh,
How-
I
wild.
almost chose this show for a question, so I'm glad I didn't.
How is this the basis for a healthy relationship? Because you wake up every day like, hey, remember that time I made you like survive in the wilderness with 20 other women for you to be worthy of my love? That's
And
great.
it worked. I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't been married for 15 years, so I can't. I don't know. I guess I can't knock it.
I mean, you chose Jessie out of 20 women who are surviving up in the mountains of Fairbanks, Alaska.
That's
So-
true. That's how I picked her. No, she was the only girl my age at the factory I worked at. That's how we got married. And also, I loved her and fell in love with her, and she's
Oh,
amazing.
okay. Oh. Hi, Jessie.
Have you guys ever seen the show Next?
No.
No.
That was a dating show on MTV where they just put like 20 dudes in a bus to date one girl. And I think sometimes it's flipped the other way around, but they get $1 for every minute they last in the date with the girl. And whenever she doesn't want to be on the date anymore, she just says next. And then the next guy comes out of the
Oh.
bus.
So it's not like they stay there. She has the, okay.
Yeah, she has the option to pass. So it's
Do
like,
they- Like at the end, do they get to pick to keep the money or keep dating her?
yes.
Okay, I feel like I have seen this. Yeah.
And the most money you can make is like $90. So it's not like, because the most you can spend is an hour and a half together. So at the end, it's like, will you keep your $82 or will you go on a date with her?
And sometimes I chose the money.
Honestly, I was thinking about it, and I was like, obviously, I would choose the date because if it's love, it's not worth the money. But I'm like, if it's just, I mean, like $90.
Yeah.
You should watch the show. That's not love. Whatever's going on that show is not love.
See, but there's a diminishing return because if it's 12 minutes, then you're like, oh, I'd rather go on another date than keep the $12. But there's probably not a connection there. But if you make it the whole 90 minutes, there might be a connection there, but it's more money. This is tough.
It's true.
This is why
it's amazing how many guys on that show only walk away with $1 or not even $1. Like they don't even make it a minute. It's real bad.
There was a show that called Parental Control, I think. Parents hated their child's boyfriend or girlfriend, so they'd pick 2 other girls for this person to go on a date with, and they could watch the date as it was happening, and then the guy or girl would come back and be like, I still choose my boyfriend or girlfriend, sorry mom and dad, or they'd choose one of these other girls. So I was watching it in college, and all of a sudden I was like, this girl looks so familiar, and then they show her name at the bottom, and I was like, oh, we went to high school together. That's weird.
That is weird.
This is where you are right now. Somewhere in Los Angeles.
And that illusion shatters and you realize oh, that's a real person on the show right now. That's someone I know.
Well, because there's on Netflix, I think I've talked about this before, but there's a show called Cheer that a bunch of people love, and it's about cheerleaders and whatnot. And I went to elementary school with one of the girls on it, and I didn't know she had a Netflix show. And I because I'm friends with her on Facebook and I follow her on Instagram. And then one day she posted a picture on Instagram of her with Kendall Jenner and Ellen DeGeneres. And I was like, hold up, I'm missing some context here. And then I was like, I clicked on her profile and oh, she has 1 million followers. What's going on? And then I just oh, I was just missing out on apparently the only, because I was thinking I was going to be the famous one from my elementary school, and it just all went away in an instant.
And our podcast just hasn't taken off. I bet we could get on Ellen now. I bet Ellen's kind of scraping for some guests now.
Yeah, I'd go on Ellen.
After that whole kerfuffle.
Yeah.
We'll see it. We'll see if we can book
on
that.
Ellen.
We'll see if either we can book Ellen or Ellen can book us.
My schedule's pretty tight.
Yeah. Maybe she can Discord in. I don't have Ellen's Discord.
What if we did one time, just we're and our special guest this week, Ellen DeGeneres, but we still only had 20 followers.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, who?
And it just consists completely out of this exists, but no one listens to it. But Ellen was on.
That should be our goal. I mean, I don't know that we're going to top Miss Urfer.
Oh, goodness, no.
Probably not.
I do have, I know a famous person, and I have their phone number, and they have their own TV show and stuff. And there have been times where I should see if he wants to be on the podcast. And I'm like, nah.
Nah. Yeah, I agree.
I haven't texted.
I completely understand.
Don't want to leverage my one famous relationship. So, yeah.
So are we making you feel bad now? Now I feel bad.
No.
I've been working up the courage to text you to be on our podcast for months now.
Oh, that wasn't to be oh, Miss Urfer's not. No.
I did not take it.
Okay, good.
I'm fine not being famous.
Me too, honestly.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, probably. I don't know. You get free stuff. That might be cool.
That's true. But then you're just one bad night away from slapping Chris Rock. And then everyone turns against
from
you.
The Oscars.
Yeah.
10 years.
How about that? You get banned from the Oscars for 10 years. If I was Will Smith, I probably wouldn't go back ever.
That's totally why I'm not at the Oscars. It's because I've been banned.
Yeah.
10 years
Exactly.
is nothing. I can get a 20-year ban easy. Watch me. I'll get a 20-year ban.
Watch me get a longer ban from the Oscars. It's now a competition.
It's a competition now.
That's a competition show I'd watch. See who can get the longest ban from like a Walmart or
Walmart.
yeah. You know how bad of something you have to ban from a Walmart?
That's true. They're pretty tolerant there.
I feel like maybe not, they're not banned, but there's that guy who does like the thing where he throws things over. He has like a YouTube channel and he throws things or gets things to fall on people like in Walmart. I feel like he should be banned from Walmart.
Oh my gosh. It's a different Walmart every time.
Yeah. There's 8
Probably.
billion Walmarts.
But still, you gotta like recognize him eventually, right? Maybe.
There were definitely games, like when I was in high school, there were games that either my friends would play or my brother's friends would play. We never participated because we were good kids. But it was like to see how fast you could get kicked out of a Walmart. Just
Wow, Ben.
by doing stuff.
Wow.
I never did it. I've never been kicked out of a Walmart.
I don't think
That's
I've ever been
bragging.
kicked out of an establishment.
I mean,
But this sounds
No.
like a good challenge for the week. That's our Noodles at Noon weekly challenge. Get banned from a public facility.
have
No,
I been? Have I been?
you cannot do that.
Jess Urfer
I don't-
approved.
No.
Gosh, I don't
do
think
feel
I've
like-
ever been kicked out anywhere.
I feel like I have some students playing that game right now, like with my classroom.
Uh-oh.
That's just TikTok.
No, they're not on TikTok. They're just being
High schoolers.
15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Has TikTok not come to your town yet?
Do they not
No.
have it there?
We don't have that out there. No.
We don't have that.
We unfortunately do have TikTok, but we're pretty strict
know.
about phones, which is nice. So as far as I know, I have not been featured on a TikTok from my classroom.
Let's
Pretty strict
find
about
out.
phone-
But I know,
strict
let's
about
find out.
phones. Okay, so it is like prison.
It's just like prison.
Well, Ben, should we wrap this up?
I think we should wrap this up. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Congratulations to both Miss Urfer and I, or Jess and I, for winning the game because we both got it right. Because we
Yay.
had the same answer for the last one. So congratulations to us. Congratulations to Noah on preparing a terrific game. And congratulations to all of you because we're all winners here at Noodles at Noon. Jess, do you have anything you would like to add?
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
think so. I guess
We usually have our guests plug whatever their podcast or social media platform is. What's like the platform you want to plug?
I have nothing to plug.
It doesn't have to be yours. You can
Just
plug,
be
like-
nice to. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is my plug. Be nice to your teachers. That's all I want people to do. That's all I want.
I concur. Be nice
just for
to your
one more
teacher.
month, please.
Yeah,
No, the
and
rest of
maybe
your
like
life.
a couple years.
Yeah. Be nice to your teachers. I don't know if we have any, because like our 2 listeners who are still in school are in medical or PhD field. So I think they're pretty nice to their teachers.
I
But
would
still,
hope so.
be nice to your teachers. Noah, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Also, be nice to the medical professionals, because
That too.
yeah, that too.
Be nice to people. Well, thank you all so much for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.